Alrighty, lads. Well, welcome to our first podcast of the year, Hangouts on Air. We've got the technology happening here. So you've got your commissioner here broadcasting to you from Hoboken, somewhere near New York City. Um, and we've got Timm, the mighty GM of the Javs. Timm, thanks for joining the broadcast today.
Good to be here, Kamish. Happy days. Looking forward to the season starting.
Awesome. So we wanted to kick off and just talk about the draft that was last weekend. And basically, for those who have been here for a few years, you've obviously seen the Google Docs draft take the best part of 2 or 3 weeks each season the last few years. But prior to that, we actually had a live draft using the ESPN app and the actual live draft tool. But what we found is someone would always miss out every year, and then they'd get the auto picks, and then they basically wouldn't play, or they'd be very, very low engagement the whole year. So that's the reason why we actually went to the Google draft. But then Timm had the bright idea to resurrect the live draft, and fair to say it was a success this year, Timm.
Oh, huge success. And part of my reason for pushing it was basically just to weed out all those guys that with very little knowledge about basketball, and thought the live draft will sort them out. And I think it did. I think it worked. We
Yeah,
did see some teams thrive, and we did see some teams bomb.
I think that's one of the beautiful things about it is just when you've got, in theory, 2 minutes on the clock and you don't have the time to, reassess and research. Once you get past those, whatever your list really is, whether it's 50 strong or whether you're looking a bit shaky after the first 100 players, this way you've actually just got to make a call on the spot. So in theory, it would
basically
tend to
gave. Yeah, it's giving every GM the opportunity to pick the absolute perfect pick, with giving that, those 10-hour long pick sessions. It basically gave everyone to reassess every angle and then pick the perfect draft pick. And then also, obviously, it irritated those ones that were ready to pick, and it irritated those ones that had to wait on someone that was either working or a bit busy and preoccupied. So I think it was a huge success. And do you want me to talk about how it went in Melbourne, where we held it, where everyone turned up?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, thanks to Kale, the GM of the mighty Team Blizzard, former champions, along with yourself, Timm. So he put up the house in the old Melbourne town. So yeah, who was there and what happened on the day?
So Ascot Vale was the location. Strategically, Kale's wife was unavailable; she wasn't there, so it was a boys' day there, and I rocked up pretty much on time to see Josh, the themeless GM, madly scribbling down names on a piece of paper, doing his rankings. So that was a bit of fun, and then I think the Curse rocked up, full of confidence. I think he walked through the front door going, "The champ is here, the champ is here."
Yeah,
followed by Luke.
Surprising.
With the Jameson bottle in hand, so it was good. And then Luke turned up, and it come with a bit of a game plan. I think out of all the GMs in the draft, I think Luke benefited from the live draft most. I think he put in a lot of homework and was I think also he was in a really good position in between. He was picking in between the rookie of Nick, the new GM, and I think he was also after was it
Seamless
Mike. So Themeless? Yeah, okay. So Themeless, yeah. So it was a really nice position to draft from. So yeah, but all in all, a really good day. Everyone else phoned in and was there for most of it until late in the draft, where a few auto picks got thrown out. Yeah, successful day.
No, good stuff. And yeah, well, we'll see if we can get another group together at the halfway point of the season, maybe All-Star break. I'll
Yeah,
definitely see if I can get home at some stage and we can get the lads together again, and hopefully, we can get all the key players there, and by that time, Mike should be around bottom of the ladder, so he won't have as much to crow about this time, I think.
yeah. Yeah, he has been really flat since the draft. He was full of beans, and he's kind of really flattened off, which is much to my delight, to be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the ups and downs when it comes to Mike's banter. There's a lot of downs in there, but just from an activity perspective as well, it seems like I'm not sure how confident he is this season, even though he's coming off obviously a grand final appearance.
Oh no, he's been sorted out big time. He crowed too early and didn't do his homework and relied on Curse to basically pick his team last year,
Mm.
and he's fell flat on his face, which is hilarious.
Yeah, so why don't we actually run through and just have a bit of a go through each team, and we can make a few predictions, a few assessments, see who basically screwed themselves and see who might have actually done a good job here. So,
Yeah,
um,
who we got up first?
so the first conference that we're doing, because as we know, conferences mean everything in this competition. Is the
What
Khan
is the
comp.
name of the competition this year?
So the name of the comp is the Latrell Sprewell Shield. So I think all of us are around that
Yeah,
vintage that
Matt,
we remember
great.
Sprewell. And he was famous for choking out Rick Carlissimo in one of their more
That's
heated
right.
moments on the court. So it's a bit of a tribute to that, highlight of his career that we've named the Shield after him. And then as far as
Yeah, Spree.
conferences go, what a legend. And so the first conference is the Khan Conference, named after David Khan. He is the guy who was the GM of the mighty Minnesota Timberwolves. He's actually Luke's mate, if I have that friendship correct. And he was the guy who famously passed over Stephen Curry, and actually picked, I think, not one, not two, but three point guards ahead of him in the very draft that Steph Curry ended up going to the Warriors. So he picked Rubio, he picked Ty Lawson, and he picked, of course, Johnny Flynn.
Johnny.
Um,
Johnny. Yeah.
all went ahead of Steph Curry. So we have one conference named after Khan, and then the other conference is named after Rob Hennigan, former and current assistant GM of the Thunder. So he basically left the Thunder, um, got a plum job in Orlando, proceeded to
Went and
draft.
threw a grenade there.
Oh mate, like Alfred Payton, Aaron Gordon, who actually looks like he could come good this year. Um, and basically didn't do much else. And also famously revealed with some random European draft prospect who took a selfie. He basically had his whole big board of prospects on the whiteboard, which then got
Free
tweeted out.
agency. Yeah.
So absolute buffoonery from Hennigan. So he gets the honor of a conference named after him. So in the Khan conference,
Yeah.
let's
Well,
start with that. We've got Curse, we've got Mike. I don't even want to say his team name. It's another horrible one, the Durantulas.
that was horrendous.
Just
Horrendous.
he doesn't
I
learn.
emotionally changed.
He just gets worse and
Yeah.
worse. We have Mash Life. We have the catastrophic L's. That's Bill. We've got Nick's Lard being Nick, and we have the mighty Javs, the Javelin's Deliverance. So we'll start at the top with the curse.
Yeah. Should we run through the top 10 of draft picks? I think
Yeah.
of first round. Should we
Oh
say who
yeah,
went
yeah.
where? Let's do
That's
that before we get straight into the teams.
yeah, cool.
Um,
So do you want to run through them?
Yeah, so I kind of like this because there was a lot of banter. I, I managed to, oh, well, I famously get pick 12 every year. I was looking forward to pick 12 again. And lo and behold, I managed to snag pick one. And
Yeah, absolutely.
with a little bit of effort to try and trade down, we were able to trade out of the pick. I wanted to try and do that. I ended up taking the first pick and caused a little bit of a stir because I told everyone I'm definitely taking the freak, Giannis. I was going to take him. I'm definitely taking him. And I speaking to Nathan, I definitely threw him. So I ended up taking Westbrook, and I was never in doubt of taking Westbrook. I was always going to take him. And I think it really stirred, which is another good thing about the live drafting, is I really threw a cat amongst the pigeons, and Nathan didn't really know who to pick and went the Greek freak himself.
Yeah,
So he was number 2,
I was convinced.
followed by
Yeah.
Mash, who threw another spanner in the works after that.
Yeah, I was convinced you were going to take the Greek Freak. I thought the Westbrook stuff was actually the
Yeah,
smoke screen, so you had me fooled. And then yeah, Mash takes
yeah,
LeBron. I think Mash was just paying attention to all of the LeBron talk leading up to the draft and just thought he couldn't
yeah,
go wrong there, even though he had
yeah,
Harden last year. So that's a pretty bold pick from
yeah.
Mash.
I would have put all the peanuts into on the table and for him to taking Harden. But yeah, so he went 3. LeBron went 3, and then another surprise at number 4, which Bill picked, our Centro man. He took Cat, and which I don't mind in other formats of fantasy, but Cat in our format, I don't know about that at number
Mate,
4.
I got to tell you, sitting at pick 6, that was the one that really threw me for 6 because I'll reveal a little bit of the Bergs draft strategy here. Was I was just taking Anthony Davis, and I was
Yeah,
like, well, Davis is the guy, and I was
he'll
thinking,
be there.
yeah, he'll probably be there. If he's there, I'll take him. And also, I was convinced that John Wall was going to go in the first 5 picks, just based on I think he was the 3rd overall player in our
Yeah,
thing last year, and Mash had him, so I thought Mash was taking him for sure. And I even thought, well, if Wall happens to slip, I'm still going to stay strong and take Davis. But then when the live draft came into play and Wall was still there, I basically just kind of panicked a bit and took Wall and thought, if Wall ends up top 3 again, I won't be able to forgive myself by taking Davis, and maybe Davis gets injured. So I basically got totally thrown by what happened above me in the draft.
really,
And
yeah,
and I was just like, well, from here, I'm just gonna try and build around what we have here. And so, but yeah, look, I'm basically rooting against Davis having an awesome season this year because he was the guy that I wanted, and it was only the fact that John Wall slipped through to me that I took Wall. So we'll see if that turns out. But it was the pressure was on. The pressure was on from that point. So then you've got the LBs, which is obviously another horrible name for Mike's team. He takes Kevin
As
Durant.
we speak, I
Yeah.
think there has been a trade. There has
Oh
been
my
a trade
gosh.
as we speak. There's been a trade.
This is absolute ridiculous. Hold on. Hold on. No. Trade review. No, is it a review though? Or is it he's putting it
I
out
think
there.
he's putting it out there.
So
Okay, so it hasn't been accepted. That's sort of yeah.
mhm. So Nick has
Oh, excuse me.
proposed. So Nick has. Where's Nick at
He's
here?
thrown out Ariza and Clarkson to get Lamarcus.
No. So, oh yes, you're right. So Ariza and Clarkson from Nick to get
Yeah.
Lamarcus. Yeah, right. Okay, interesting.
Anyway, back to the top 10. All that drama is ended up with the reigning champ at number 5, who took I think 0.5 of a second to say James Harden. He was just mind blown and just went, he's number 2, James Harden, please. And
Yeah.
on we went. And so you took Wall at 6. Um, Mike took Durant at 7, which I think is actually a pretty good pick. 8, Anthony Davis went to Jared. Steph Curry fanboy Josh took him at 9. And probably, again, a few surprises from 10 to 12. Peck Luke went Jokic. So that means the Javs, my team's two picks last year, have climbed their way into the first round, which I'm quite pleased about. So they were outside of round 1 last year, and they're both inside of round 1 this year. Followed by the rookie Nick, who took Damian Lillard, and then rounding out the first round, Kale took Boogie, followed by CP3 as his snake drafting. Took CP3, which I actually think is a great 2 picks.
Yeah, I think Peck went a little early on Jokic there. I reckon both Lard and Boogie are gonna finish ahead of Jokic. But he did follow it up with Gobert. So, you got the Twin Towers. It kind of feels pretty strong.
Yeah.
So
I like that strategy. All right. Yeah. So that's our top 10. So let's get back to the conferences and who's the first team we're going to review.
So we're going to start off with the Curse, the reigning champ.
Wow.
So let's I'll run through the list, and then we can dig in on any of these players who you think might be good or shit. So he's got Goran Dragic, James Harden, Draymond Green, B.I., Brandon Ingram, Drummond, Rodney Hood, Harrison Barnes, Al Horford, Willie Hernan Gomez, Marcus Smart, Enes Kanter, John Collins as the rookie, and Justice Winslow. So
yeah, who he got off the wire after the draft was done. He started with Charge Gibson.
That was a horrible pick.
Yeah. Well, see, so Curse is obviously a solid drafter and very knowledgeable. And then I think at around round 8 or 9, I think the Brandon Ingram pick, it all started then. I think the Jamison and the Beers might have kicked in at the live draft because he swung from the fences.
Mate.
But he'll be fine. I mean, every team rotates 4 to 5 players, and he's got the ability to rotate those players, or maybe throw them into a big trade and stock up. So his first 5, 6, 7, 8 picks were solid, and he definitely took probably 4 guys that I was really interested in, and probably should have taken Drummond myself and let him slip. So, really good drafting from the Curse, and will probably go in as a favourite, I would have thought, for taking out the title.
Interesting. So you had the 2 picks you had before Drummond were Porzingis at 24 and Turner at 25. So you were tossing up to take Drummond there.
Drummond, yeah. I think that's especially in our format, our league, I think Drummond's going to get you doubles, and I just thought it was a boring pick, and I wanted to be a bit more exciting. And then looking back, and this is a live draft. If I had have had more time, I probably would have talked myself out of taking Miles Turner, and I would have taken Drummond.
Yeah.
And then I was also hoping Green would actually slip to me instead of I was always going to take Porzingis. I think he would have got to me. Yeah. And then Green was taken. So I was like, yeah, Porzingis. And then the boring pick of Drummond was just live drafting and took Turner. So Curse has drafted well, and he will be there when the whips are cracking.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So we'll move on to another very vocal person in the league, the Durantulas, Mike's squad. So,
gosh,
let's see how we go here. I'll run through the list again. We have Jeff Teague, horrendous. Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh wow.
Kevin
Not
Durant.
Jeff Teague's not a horrendous pick. It's just like where he was taken.
Oh yeah. Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, Joel Embiid, Reggie Jackson, Jason Tatum, Gortat, Buddy Hield, RHJ, Chris Middleton, Trevor Booker and the mighty Tyreek Evans off the wire.
Who he dumped JJ Redick for, which, I think he's panicking early. He's panicking really early.
He's rattled.
Yeah. So obviously the main reason of me putting forward a live draft, because I knew this bloke would get sorted out. He knows nothing about the game. He's gone the whole Moneyball kind of theory, and he's bombed big time. But maybe not, because he has just gone high risk, high reward with Griffin and Joel Embiid. So if they come off, I mean, great. But then he's also taken Reggie Jackson high. He took Jeff Teague at pick 31. And he's the fourth banana in that Wolves team. So, I mean, he's taken Malcolm Brogdon in round 9. I think Middleton was his best pick. Middleton was he took him round 6, which is a really good, Middleton's a very good, solid fantasy player. So,
yeah.
I mean, if Griffin is high risk, high reward. So if it comes off, it comes off. But at the moment, I don't think he will be returning to the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether he's got the quality to.
Yeah.
Sorry, go.
I think his season all hinges on Embiid. That was his 4th round pick. And as we saw, he had some ridiculous 21, 12, and 4 or something in 17 minutes or something the other day. So if he plays like that.
Yeah, if he takes, I mean, there's just safe picks at that pick. He could have taken Al Horford. He could have taken even a Brook Lopez would have been a solid pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he was going to go for a big, I think he should have went safe there. But I mean, it was whoever wanted to take Embiid was always going to have to go early, knowing full well that he's only going to play 50 games for me max. But that's not the way I play. I more like guys that are durable. So anyway, good luck to Mike. I don't think he'll be there, and it'll be a pleasure to play him twice, which he requested to play me twice this year, and I think he's going to go unwinnable again.
Yeah, I think we've spent way too much time on Mike's team. They're absolute rubbish, and he's really stuffed himself. So let's move swiftly on to Mash Life. So Mash he's a notoriously entertaining drafter, and he's definitely lived up to his reputation again. So let's see who he's got.
Yeah.
He's got Jeremy.
I mean, as I said, yeah.
I'll run through his list.
Go through his team.
Jeremy Lin, Jimmy Butler, LeBron, Millsap, Pat Bev, Ben Simmons, Rudy Gay, Waiters, Ryan Anderson, Julius Randle, Ish Smith, Bojan Bogdanovic, that's the Indiana one, Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, and started off the draft with picking 7 power forwards, which was not allowed, but we kind of rectified that.
Just bringing absolute chaos to the draft.
But I mean, started really well. He's gone LeBron, Jimmy Butler, and Paul Millsap. I think that's really strong drafting. Round 5 to Simmons, again, it's a bit like Embiid. Whoever wanted to take him was going to have to take him early. I think he went early again with Randall and just continued to take guys really early. I think he took Jeremy Lin early, he took Pat Bev early, he took Waiters early, he took Gay early, who has been playing okay. He took Ryan Anderson early. And then unfortunately couldn't hold on to Kuzma. So just had to give up Kuzma. So entertaining draft. May struggle to, but I think there's one spot in the top 6 that he may be able to sneak into, and that'll be he won't be any higher than that last spot in the playoffs. But yeah, especially with Randall. I really like Randall, but I'm not sure what's going to happen with him.
Well, the other one there is Ben Simmons, and I think you're right. He took him high, which he had to just because he was such a hot name coming into it. But Simmons has looked absolutely unreal. Like he's looked like he could be like a third round instead of a fourth round guy. And like if he kind of props him up to give him the numbers to back up LeBron, Butler, Millsap, then he's kind of got a pretty solid four there. I think though, yeah, when you ran through about 6 blokes who he took early, I think that's about a few too many in terms of a draft. You want to take a few early, but you also want to like pick a few guys at their sort of solidified position.
I mean, a lot of the guys that he's taken early, and I said this on draft day, they're guys that I didn't want on my list anyway. So, and a lot of players, I reckon he could have taken a lot of those guys where they were probably at.
Yeah, I think
a round or too early.
That could cost him in the end.
Rudy Gay. No one was taking Rudy Gay in round 11. He's taken him in round 10. So
yeah, well,
you know,
Mash has proven
another
one's
going to struggle.
So we'll move on to Bill's team based in El Centro, the Catastrophic L's. So he's gone with Kemba Walker, Oladipo, Paul George, Ibaka, Tristan Thompson, Gary Harris, TJ Warren, Vucevic, Capella, Jamal Murray, Cat, Josh Richardson, and Caleb Swanigan.
And obviously, just a reminder for those out there, we made a rule at the beginning of the year that you have to hold a rookie. You have to draft a rookie and you have to hold that rookie until the end of round 1. Doesn't have to be that rookie. It just had to be a rookie on your roster until at least the end of round 1. So obviously the Swanigan pick is the reason for that. Really, really solid draft from Bill. He's obviously done his homework after last season. A really solid player, actually. Wouldn't have taken Towns that high myself. I think he would have nearly been a favourite for me if he had taken that Harden pick. And then look at the rest of his list. I mean, really solid players. I think Oladipo's a bit of a steal there. He's taken him in round 6. Vucevic is always a good fantasy player. I don't think he took anyone too high. I think he landed everyone about where they're at, which is a good way to draft, except for Towns, I think, but that's only in our format. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Paul George goes.
Yeah, he's basically swept up a whole bunch of the like fantasy nerd guys that everyone kind of had their eye on. So you can tell he's been listening to a few podcasts, the old Bill. Guess there's not that much to do out in El Centro this time of year.
Yeah.
But, all these guys through the middle rounds are just super solid. Like, as you say, like Oladipo, Kemba, Ibaka, Gary Harris, Vooch, they're all super solid.
He's taken like Ibaka's a bit of a steal at 9 even. Like I had my eye, I think, Ibaka might slip to me and I'll probably take him, but I was never taking Ibaka high, but he's probably got him in the right spot.
Yeah, and he's also the one there that doesn't seem to fit the pattern is Tristan Thompson. I think he probably could have done better there, but you're talking in the 12th round, so he'll probably end up on the wire anyway.
Yeah. That you can swing, and then if he starts to still double off the off the bench for the Cavs, I mean that is a steal at 13. He was on a list all year. He never come off a list, which is remarkable. I think he was a keeper all season last year.
So we'll move on to Nick Lard. So Nick is obviously the new rookie in the competition, and we're all very sad to see Pablo go. He was such an integral part of the system over here in the fantasy competition. But Nick's been, any passing tributes for Pablo there, Tim?
No.
I think he was your mate. I think that's how we got him in the league. Was him?
No way. No. In fairness to Pab's, obviously quite busy and just didn't have the time to. So obviously it's gone up a level, having to be in this league. So you've got to cut those that aren't keeping the pace.
Yeah. So
Nick looks like he's going to be pretty exciting. He's going to be involved in trades. He's going to have to be. He's going to be involved in the banter. He's not going to take any shit, which is good. So if we run through his team and can I actually run it? Can we run it in order of the way he drafted in order?
Yeah. All right. So let me bring it up in the order here. Okay. Just typed Lard into the sheet to make sure I've got his picks. So he's taken. He took Lard, hence the name. So pick 11, round 1, Damian Lillard. Hold on, who's he got here?
Kawhi was his second round.
Oh yeah, round 2, Kawhi. Round 3, Devin Booker. Round 4, Melo. Round 5, Gorgie Deng.
Horrendously early.
Round 6, Lonzo Ball.
Early for me.
Round 7, D Wade.
Early.
Round 8, Ariza.
Yeah, probably around. With CP3 now, he's probably going to get you. Well, maybe he's going to be that. If you need the 3 ball, yeah, okay. I mean, there's probably about 4 guys every year that get drafted in about round 9 or 10, and they're Tobias Harris, Thad Young, and Trevor Ariza, and they're about 3 picks away from each other again this year. So, and Ibaka, you'd probably throw in that as well. So
yeah.
Yeah. Next.
Next he went Isaiah Thomas here in round 9. Yeah. So
he thought he drafted so well that he's gonna have a crack at Isaiah Thomas.
The old stash.
And hold him.
Justice Winslow, round 10.
It's early.
Yep. Now let me see who's round 11. Josh Jackson.
Yeah, had to take a rookie. Probably could have waited till round 12, 13.
Round 12, Jabari Parker.
Yeah, another injured bloke. So horrendous.
He'll be playing in about 6 months, I think. Jabari.
Yeah, and really good player, but this is fantasy.
Yeah, his knees are good as gold. Round 13, Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, I like Clarkson. I like that pick. He was on my radar for that same pick, which is the last round. But I had enough shooting guards already. So,
all right. So what do we think overall of this of Nick's list here?
Oh, an absolute debacle. Let's not mince our words. It was a debacle, but exciting as well, because it was, especially live drafting, we never knew what was coming. We just knew it was going to be exciting. I was really surprised the way Mash drafted for his first year last year, and then I think Nick's outdone him with some as we said before with Mash, Nick's taken a lot of guys really early, so may struggle to even get any wins. And so if anyone can pillage him with some trade offers, I think he just can't keep a lot of these guys if he wants to compete. So, but it's going to be exciting. He's going to be an exciting member of the league.
I just for the life of me, I can't figure out why Jabari Parker is still on a list when he's out for literally months. It just does not add up. But at least he got Lonzo Ball, so there you have it.
Yeah, he wanted to have him. That'll be the one to watch. And probably, are we going to give him the trophy for the guy taken far too early, like in a draft? Gorgie Deng went round 5.
I think.
Wow.
I mean, we gave enough shit to Bill last year for Miles Turner at pick 28. So I think Nick absolutely takes the cake all time for a going.
I've just had a quick look at all the rounds and the picks after him for about 3 rounds, and there's not one player I would have taken after Deng in the 3 rounds after that.
Just horrible.
And Deng is a Jav for life, by the way. He is. I really like him, but I like him in round 11. you know,
Yeah.
so he'll flirt with doubles again, and the Mavs. It doesn't. Who knows what they're going to do with Noel? So
All right.
yeah.
So
Moving on. Not a contender. Not a contender.
Yeah. So the next one is the Javs. So we might leave that one till the end, shall we?
Yeah.
Or
Okay. Yeah. Let's leave that one.
So that's all for the Khan division for the moment. We'll move on to the Hennigan division. So we're looking at the Pecs Trophy Hunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll run through them again in order. So let's see who he's got here. One. So he's gone Jokic, Gobert, DeRozan, Mike Conley, LaMarcus Aldridge,
Solid.
Otto Porter Jr., Balls Batum, Thad Young, Darren Collison, Jermichael Green, Dwayne Dedman, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell. So LaVine, he's since dropped him, I think. So
yeah, he's dropped LaVine, but he's taken, and just our draft was held after Batum got injured as well, so he was aware. Obviously, Nick Batum's not falling to the 7th round.
So he's
if he was fully fit. But.
So he's trying to stash balls, and he's still stashing balls as we speak.
Yeah.
He's replaced Zach LaVine with Jerry and Grant, because Grant is pretty shit, but he's the only point guard that Chicago has at the moment. So he's gone with him. Yep. So yeah, he's gone strong with the Twin Towers, Jokic and Gobert early on. He's kind of got a bunch of solid guys. So Conley, DeRozan, Aldridge,
Otto Porter.
Yeah, a famous burger.
Breakout year last year. Yeah, Otto Porter famous and a Jav before that.
So yeah,
and
I think fair to say, most people in the draft came away thinking that Luke had a very solid draft.
Yeah, he's cooled though. He's cooled the last probably week with how he's drafted, just because he was holding 2 injured guys, and he could start the season off with a lot of L's if he's holding 2 out of the rotation. Dwayne Dedman was on my list big time, and I think that's a really solid pick in round 11, was it? Yeah. So really solid pick. And then those guys in the middle, where, remember, Fran, I always talk about those middle draft picks. Like, he's gone
OPJ,
Porter Jr., Thad Young, Collison, and then Batum in there. But I mean, and Conley's a solid player, round 4. He's going to get his points. He's going to hit his 80s and average 70 for the year. So solid draft from Luke, and probably the most excited he's been going into any season.
He's definitely up and about. I think he's ready to actually give this a good run this year. So let's move on to another former champ, the Blizzard. So what's he calling himself this year?
Oh, he's still a Boogie Small, so because he's drafted Boogie again.
Oh, he's got Boogie again. Fair enough.
He's got Boogie again.
So let's go through his list here. So we've gone Boogie, CP3, Schroeder, who's got legal troubles at the moment, CJ McCollum, who's got suspended, so we're sensing a theme here, Drew Holiday, Aaron Gordon, James Johnson, George Hill, Marquise Chris, Tyler Johnson, Robin Lopez, Ilyasova, and Malik Monk. So yeah, again, Kale is obviously always there and thereabouts. What do you think of his drafting this year?
Yeah, solid again. I mean, he had that 12th position, which is always nice to draft back to back. And it was funny because live drafting, every time it was his turn, he was, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to pick this guy. Oh, I don't know. And then, solid pick. So there's some guys that really stand out to me. Like Tyler Johnson was solid last year. He was going to get more opportunity again at the Heat. Chris is in line for a breakout season. I think I think anyone on that, he's got 2 Hawks in his team, and I think there's no one really taking, like Ilyasova's solid in a strong team fantasy. I mean, he's on and off the wire, but I mean, if he stays on that Hawks team all season, he might get bought out, but he can double. And then Schroeder is like a guy with big upside with no one taking points off him. So
Yeah,
I like that pick. And then he's gone CJ McCullough. So he's got 3 point guards in there. Aaron Gordon's about to have a breakout season. If George Hill stays healthy, you know, it's a solid draft from Cale again, and he's going to be up there. He's going to be in the top 3 or 4 teams.
yeah, it's a pretty impressive list, and I'd have to say I think Kale's usually one of the more conservative drafters, which is probably why he's always right up the top. But this year he's definitely taken a few upside guys. So Aaron Gordon is like the upside guy of NBA fantasy right now. So props to him for taking him. Then, yeah, blokes like, Marquise Chris was another young guy. So I think he's definitely mixed in a little bit of like the up and coming young guys into his kind of veteran squads that he always gets. So I think he's gonna
will
be
not
up there.
trade. Unlikely to trade. So that's his team right there.
Yeah, he definitely won't be trading anything. Next is our friend Themeless. So
yes,
always entertaining. Let's see what he's got here. I'm going to run through his list. Here we go. So Steph Curry, K Love, Eric Bledsoe, Ricky Rubio, Nerlens Noel, Gallinari, Avery Bradley, Tim Hardaway Jr., Zach Randolph,
tad early.
De'Aaron Fox, Marcus Morris, Al Farouk Aminu, Tyson Chandler.
Chief. Yeah.
So
not too bad. Not too bad. I think he took a few guys a little bit early, a bit of risk, but some really nice players and some guys that I had on my radar as well. Kevin Love's probably taken a tad early for me. Who knows what's happening with Bledsoe, but if he plays, he always scores well. Rubio's a real nice pick. I think that's the pick of his draft. I think everyone was kind of had their eyes on Rubio this year. Noel probably a little bit early for me. Gallinari shows up if he wants to. Then if he doesn't want to play one night, he just could literally get donuts for you. Hardaway Jr. probably taken a little bit high, but will get plenty of opportunities in New York and has been paid. Zach Randolph's a solid pick. De'Aaron Fox, like he's a really nice player. It'd be interesting to see how he goes fantasy-wise. Marcus Morris, I mean, is he in the how far down the list in the Celtics rotation?
Yeah, well, Jason Tatum's got the starting gig, so it doesn't bode too well for the old Morris twin. But
no, probably needs court time to score, which he got at other teams, but may not get it this year. Not too bad. Probably not enough quality or consistency in a lot of those guys. I mean, Curry's up and down since Durant arrived, so he will have his big nights, will have his quiet nights. Love's the same. So Rubio is probably going to be the one. And I mean, who else is going to be like consistent? Like Randolph? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, just not enough guys that are going to be consistent for me.
Yeah, I think Kevin Love he needs Love and Curry to go really big, basically, for him to push his way into the playoffs. So next we have the mighty Brow. Let's see what he's done this year.
So I do think Brow and Jared were two GMs that were, along with obviously Mike, who struggled with the live drafting. So we'll run through their team.
So he's taken Freak, then he's gone Kyle Lowry, a Brow favourite, I think. Mark Gasol, Klay Thompson, Brooke Lopez, D Rose, JV, Pau Gasol, KCP, Markel Fultz, Marvin Williams, Tyreek Evans, now dropped.
Yuck.
And Markeith Morris. So, geez, it started to get a bit.
It's a little bit smelly near the end there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he's really fucked himself there.
From round 9, like he's gone Powell, KCP, Fultz, Williams, Evans, and Markeith, who's out. I think I rattled him with my Westbrook pick, and I think Freak could be anything. I mean, if you've taken him number 2, and who knows, he could be the number 1 player. We don't know what Westbrook and Harden are going to be like with the additions to those sides. So if they come down, my theory was that both of them won't come down from last year enough for Freak to overtake them. But I mean, he'll have a lot of fun with Freak. He's exciting to watch. I really liked the Bucks last year, what they were doing. So he'll have fun with Giannis. And then just some real guys that, Derrick Rose taken early. I mean, JV was probably the one that you go, solid pick there in round 7. Just not enough guys that probably with a high enough ceiling there. You're going to get a lot of, 50s a lot. Like he's going to have weeks there where Freak is going to be literally carrying the team on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Marc Gasol's solid pick.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy.
Yeah, I think Brow was sponsored by the Spanish national team this year because he felt obliged to take both Gasol brothers. So
and
good on him.
Paul Gasol, as he's affectionately known now. Paul Gasol.
Paul Gasol, okay. He's taken Curse's best mate JV, so that's always turned out pretty well for Curse. So I think he's got a bit to be there and thereabouts, but he might just lack a little bit of depth towards the end there.
Who did he try? He dumped Evans. He dumped Tyreek, and who did he bring in?
TJ McConnell.
Okay. Yeah, he might. Yeah, okay.
So,
he'll be back on the wire again.
So now we've got Houston Beard, which is a pretty horrible name, but no worse than what Jared used to have, which was the CP3 PO R2D12.
Oh, yeah. Another horrendous name. Yeah.
I think anyone who comes up with that kind of a name should start, 0-1 to start the season, regardless of whether they win round 1 or not. Something like that. We have to go take it to the competition committee, and just some of these blokes have to lift their game, I think.
Now, was Jared present the whole draft, or was he in and out?
He was in and out. He actually submitted a list to me, and some of these picks were interesting because they were literally the commissioner taking orders of who he should pick.
Yeah.
So he did provide the list, but then towards the end, he actually was able to hop online, and he actually made the last few picks.
You can kind of tell that the way he's draft.
So let's run through it. So he got Davis, amazing. He got Whiteside. He got Gordon.
Good solid 2 picks.
Hayward, Nurkic, Rondo, Covington, Steven Adams, Tobias Harris, Clam Chowder early, Teodosic, Lamb, Will the Thrill, Barton, McBuckets. That's it. But he's since, what has he done since then? Oh no, he's kept Barton.
Did he
He's
have to
kept
get rid
Barton.
of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kept
Yeah.
everyone.
So what happened to Barton? What happened to Willie B?
Oh, so he got an ankle injury towards the end of practice today. Didn't sound very good. So they're gonna do the whole test and everything. But basically, I think any kind of an injury to Barton, I think will send him to the wire. So
yeah.
yeah.
So am I right in saying his rookie is actually the oldest player on their list? I think he might be.
Do you mean, hold on? Oh, Teodosic.
Teodosic is actually his rookie, and he's also the oldest guy on his list.
Wow, that's a classic. That's a classic.
So really strong start. Who knows what Gordon Hayward's going to go, but well, if Kyrie lets him touch the ball, then he might put up some solid numbers. I was staying away from Hayward in the draft.
Yeah, same.
Just because Kyrie's he's a ball heavy, ball. Yeah. So he's taken Rondo in round 5.
That's far too high, and he's also held him because he's out for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So
yeah, so he's gone. Look at, and there's his important middle draft. He's gone Rondo, Covington, Adams, who he's taken too high, Crowder. I mean, Tobias will be okay. I think he's a high upside guy, so nothing happened, and then he recovered again a little bit to go Teodosic, Lamb, Barton, and then he must have disappeared again for Doug McDermott to get on a list.
Yeah, no, I just think that between the Rondo injury, I think Hayward is probably going to take a little bit of a step back based on how good he was in Utah last year. As you say, like sharing the court with Kyrie, I think his scoring probably is going to drop off just a little bit. Kyrie's probably going to get the ball to get the assist, so he might drop a little bit there. I wouldn't be thrilled about having Hayward because you just got to pick him so high because he's got the reputation, but I don't think he's going to back it up quite to that level. Mm-hmm. Tobias does what he does, but that Pistons team, as much as I love them, they just they lose a lot of games basically, which means when they lose, they're in the 80s and 90s in points, and there's not a lot of fantasy points to go around. So yeah. I think I
think Jared's going to miss.
Yeah, I think he could miss here.
I think he's going to miss, but I think there is opportunities there to hand his squad together. If he's willing to trade Davis and Whiteside, I think you could really get some depth in there and get rid of some junk and get in some depth by trading out his first 2 picks. But I mean, that's easier said than done. And if they're going really well, do you really want to get rid of them? So yeah, it'll be interesting.
So let's circle back around to our 2 squads. So I'll do you the honors, mate, of running through the Javs list, and then we can find out see how happy or unhappy you might have been. So Westbrook, Porzingis, Miles Turner, Elfrid Payton, Brad Beal, Greg Monroe, Dario Saric, Dennis Smith Jr., Lou Williams, Kent Bazemore, Eric Gordon, Dirk, Rashawn Holmes, who has since been dropped for Kyle Kuzma. So, mate, what were your initial thoughts after the draft? Did you think you'd done well, or?
I thought I started well. Obviously, as I said, I kind of missed on. I probably should have taken Drummond me up, instead of Turner, but you never know. Miles Turner could do anything. So high ceiling. It's not really my style. I probably should have. Then had a little bit of a brain fart there with Greg Munro. There's probably some better players available. I should have really taken Willie Hernan Gomez, but I mean, what's going? Munro might be a quality player again. So it's like, you know, he might be okay. Overall, pretty happy, and then snagged and Holmes, who I was really happy with, that fell to me. I mean, if Embiid got injured and Holmes was there, ready to go, I was going to be stoked. But you know, Jav luck.
So I reckon,
So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
well, I really love the Dennis Smith Jr. pick. I think, you know, I think that one could really come through for you. Like I mean, Rick Carlisle's already said he's given him the keys to the car in terms of the offense. So, and he's a very aggressive player. I think where you got him as well was very good. Like pick 96. I thought he'd go higher than that actually.
Yeah.
I definitely would have looked at him in the next round if he didn't get picked, but I thought he was going even earlier than that. So I think that's an awesome pick. Obviously, also covered you in terms of rookies anyway. I think Beal is very important for how your team stacks up. Like I still have a bit of a injury aversion to Beal just because of all of that stuff early on in his career. But last year he seemed to turn it around completely. So I think I was a little bit gun shy. Yeah, I mean
round 5. So
that's a great spot to take Beal. So I think you've definitely got enough depth here. Miles Turner, he could be someone that everyone's talking about after the first month or two of the season.
And you know the Javs are talent scouts with you know, don't get them when they're good. I get them before they're good, which is a Javs problem.
Yeah, so I'm just not sure if you've got enough shooting guards though. You know, once you go
I could add
through.
a couple.
Yeah, if Lou Williams, Eric Gordon, and Kent Bazemore can't get it done, I'm not sure who can. You know? It's just there's a few shooting guards still on the wire. So if you feel like, you know, maybe Kuzma's not quite living up to the preseason hype, you could always replace him with another shooting guard. So
well, yeah. I mean, I'm just not sure who's going to head to the wire off that team. How am I going to get my games up? No.
yeah, it's a pretty solid squad. I mean, you might not make any wire acquisitions for the rest of the season now, I think.
Oh, no, it'll definitely be that happening. I'll be, you know, a bit annoyed, but overall, pretty happy. A couple of guys are going to, you know, they're going to be they're giving me grief all season. Why didn't I pick that guy instead of that guy? But that happens every year, and I think I'm going to be returning to the playoffs, mate. I'm quite, and you know, anything can happen, but unless Jav luck comes in thick and fast, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I think, you know,
with the way it's going to shape up.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Russell Westbrook can take you a long way on his own. So I think, plus with all the reinforcements you've added there, I think you'd be very stiff to miss out this year. So let's see how it ends.
And Porzingis, I think Porzingis is the number one banana there in New York, and so if he stays fit, then he could do anything as well.
Yeah, so I don't know what Enes Kanter would have to say about the number one banana call, but but they say it's Porzingis town now, so I'll have to get down there. It's obviously local to me these days, so I'll see if I can see the Latvian gangbanger in action.
The big zinger.
Yeah.
All right, the Bergs, the famous Bergs.
The Bergs. Do you want to run through the list, mate, and I'll just sit back and admire?
So the Bergs, consistent cellar dwellers. I think they might be, you know, a little bit of hope there this year. They've got enough there to give them a little bit of hope. Let's run through it. So John Wall was taken at pick 6. Second round, Kyrie Irving, which I thought may have been a bit early, but I mean, if he's getting the shots away, then he's a very good fantasy player. He's got the keys. So follows up by DeAndre Jordan again. I mean, he's a solid fantasy pick for round 3, 4. So D'Angelo Russell is the guy that you had to take early. Again, big upside with the keys there in Brooklyn. Next up with Dwight Howard, I think it's a safe pick at pick 5. Like he does, he's not a guy that you want on your team, but at the same time, like he's going to double. So Wiggins is the guy that no one wanted, absolutely no one. We're all just staying away. He's not going to touch the ball. He only scores. I don't know when he lost his defensive skills since he's been drafted. I mean, that's what he got drafted for. So, and now we've never seen him really play defense since. Your man Derek Favors returns. We already penciled that in. Evan Fournier, again, you're in a team like Orlando. You're going to get plenty of opportunity to put big scores up. Wilson Chandler, obviously his crease with Willie B going down. Mirotic, who I actually don't mind that pick. Has he since been dropped? Have you dropped him?
Dropped him for Justin Holiday.
For Justin Holiday, that's a good change. But I thought Mirotic, I mean, there's no one at the Bulls, so maybe he scores. So I didn't mind that pick. Alex Len, I wouldn't have gone near. Willie Cauley-Stein, I like. He's now the center at the Kings. A little bit of a wild child, but I think that's a solid pick in round 12. And then you've gone Lauri Markkanen as your rookie, who may be back in Europe in a couple of years. So, I mean, I don't know why the Bulls had the opportunity to take 2 point guards and in Nicotine and Dennis Smith and thought, no, we're going to take this guy that only shoots threes and does nothing else that a 7-foot man does. Oh, wow, Fran.
He's the next Dirk, mate. I'm telling you. Curse gave me the tip early on.
That is insulting to Dirk, and then whoever is half as good as Dirk.
He's dominated the Euro basket. All of the Euros come over to the NBA and dominate here. So I think Markkanen could be the league MVP by the time we're said and done here, mate. But
I do not think that at all. But I think there's that 6th playoff spot that is up for grabs, and I think you're one of them. I think you might be one of them, or you're going to be 12th on the table. It's one or the other. So,
yeah. Well, I've made a
sorry, Nick, you'll be 11th.
Well, I nestled in a nice little ass groove into the 11th spot last year, so I can just assume the position there this year and have a nice cushy ride through the season. So, but no, I think
that's it.
I definitely wanted D'Angelo Russell. He's probably the one guy I'm pretty happy with. So I reckon, even for the sake of you always want one guy that you actually quite enjoy watching play. I think he's just going to get so much run in Brooklyn that he'll put up bunches of stats. Willie Cauley-Stein, another guy I wanted, so glad to pick him up.
I had him on my radar too.
Yeah, I had just a bunch of solid guys, like the DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, those are just safety picks basically. So we'll see see how far it gets me,
Yeah, if you can get Howard, then that's a good pick. All right, that's the whole teams. Should we? If I do my top 6 and then you do your top 6 and predictions for the year?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
So my top 6, and not 100% on the order, but my definite top. There's definitely 5 teams that I think are going to be there, and that's Curse, Kale, Bill, myself, Luke is probably going to get there. He might have to offload Batum, and then I think maybe yourself might sneak into that last spot. I don't like. We just went over Nathan the Brow side. I don't think that's good enough. So it's out of you and Mash, I think, for that last spot.
The old Mash life. I reckon, I'm
Yeah, I
not.
don't know. That sixth spot is who knows.
Yeah, it's basically the eighth spot in the Eastern Conference in the real NBA. It's just whoever
Yeah,
limps their way in
it's a
there. So
Detroit position.
yeah. So, but did you mention Themeless in that list?
No,
No?
I don't think he's going to quite get there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got the quality. He's got the consistency. But at the end, like Jared May, I mean, you never know because he's got the two big pineapples of he's got Davis and Whiteside. So if they go off all season, then they're a chance. Sixth spot. But I think, what do you think? That top five is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's interesting. When the draft was first over, I kind of thought, geez, it's going to be pretty even a lot of the way down. But when you really dig into it, I think that
Yeah.
top five is going to be pretty locked in. Yeah, but you never know what might happen. Like someone's first round pick could get injured. They might get off to a slow start, and then all of a sudden they're back, like, on that bubble. Because with only, with 18 rounds, you can't afford to drop too many, and still think you're gonna sneak in there. So you never know what might happen with those top five sides.
That's right. Cool, nice one, man. Like, so round one.
Yeah, let's see who we got. So we've got the Javs versus Nick. So this one I think is it's let's just say Nick has absolutely Buckleys in this one. He might as well hit the pub, I think, this week.
The only reason, like, this is a short week as well, so I didn't actually want Nick this week. You kind of want him on a full week. You don't want him on a short week.
No, you're right.
But yeah, that's I'm happy to start the season off there. Yeah, pencil it in 1-0. One win, 0 losses. Javs.
Then we've got the Curse versus the L's. Curse versus Bill.
Is this a matchup of the week? Or is it the Pecs? Yeah, I think there's two really good matchups this week.
Okay. So you wanted to go to the Pecs versus Boogie?
Yeah, so I think there's the Curse versus Bill, which is going to be, I think Curse is a favourite, but Bill's going to be a solid team there. And then the other one is Pecs and the Boogies. So Kale versus Luke. I think that it'll be interesting to see whether Luke has drafted really well or whether Kale's just got too many solid guys. So
yeah, and again,
they're two really good opening.
Very likely that the Timm moves to the top of the MBD list as a must be dropped if he wants to stay in the hunt for a round one victory, or if he's ready to acquiesce to a 0-1 start. So yeah, the other matchups, I don't know if you wanted to run through those. I mean, Mike's probably going to lose to Mash. Themeless versus Bergs. That could go either way. I think.
This could be actually an important W for you.
Absolutely,
your two teams.
Yeah. Mate, you could be right. We could be looking back at this at the end of the season. So I'm just hopeful that Zach Randolph doesn't do too much, that Al-Farouq Aminu doesn't hurt me, and that Tyson Chandler doesn't rewind to 2009.
The thing that actually hurts you is he's got a lot of guys that are going to want to perform that first week. He's got Steph Curry, who's going to go, remember me, guys. He's got Kevin Love going, please don't forget about me. And then he's got like Eric Bledsoe that's going to go off, and Rubio with the new team. He's going to have a lot of guys that are going to impress that first week, which makes it tough for the Bergs.
All right, so let's go through to. We're going to both pick one kind of who's your favorite to take it out this year, take out the title, and then who's your roughie. So let's try and pick someone outside of that top 5 kind of thing. So I'll kick it off while you've got a minute to think about it. I might. I'm tossing up here, but let me say my fave is probably going to come in at. I think I'm going to have to go with Boogie Smalls, the old Kale, to return to the throne. And as far as a roughie, just to see if it all came together, I think Bill for the L's. Although he's in our top 5, wasn't he? But I'll stick with
it's
that.
Still a roughie.
Yeah, he hasn't won it before exactly. So let's say if his picks come off, I think Bill has a puncher's chance.
We've got to be mindful that Bill is a massive Kansas City Chiefs fan, and they are 5-0. So if they continue that form in the NFL, his focus on fantasy basketball might, it might less. So if the Chiefs go well, I'm predicting that Bill will slip down the table. The Chiefs fall off, then maybe his fantasy basketball improves. My favourite is I'm not going to go past the curse. I'm going to pump up his tyres, so there's going to be a massive fall, and hope that the Javs sneak on through. But you can't go past curse. You don't know what he's going to do with trade. So he unless anyone will trade with him this year, they might be all a bit wary. But I'll stick with curse as my favourite. And because you said Bill for your smoky, I'm going to go Luke. Luke's going to be my smoky.
Yep.
So it depends. It depends if he wants to move Batum on. It could work out. Could work out well for him either way. If he gets something good in return for him, or if he holds him and he comes back and plays some good ball.
Yeah. Well, I think we all know Batum must be dropped at this point. So if he does that, we'll see him maybe get off to a quick start here. But Peck has to really manage those injuries.
What about an MVP of an MVP player of the year?
Well, that's a very good question.
Remember, it's not the number 1 ranked player. It's that value pick that's just going to be solid for your team. That consistent guy that you thought, oh, yeah, well done.
Yeah. Such a good question. Look, I think Ben Simmons is a real chance there. I think he's just going to get so much of the ball. He's going to rack up assists and rebounds. If he can get his scoring up to, even the 12-14 mark to give him double chances, I think he's going to go close to triple doubles, like not Russell Westbrook style, but kind of like the 12 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds kind of lines, like the old sort of Rondo lines of old kind of thing. And I think just going to tally up so many points. And then you throw in occasional, obviously steals, but occasional doubles. I think Ben Simmons at 46 could be a chance there.
I like that. I'm gonna pick 2 guys. I'm gonna pick from the themeless. I'm gonna pick Ricky Rubio at pick 40, and I'm also gonna pick from the Boogie Smalls. I'm going to pick Aaron Gordon at 61. He was taken. So they're my thoughts on MVP.
Yeah, good calls. Aaron Gordon was the other one I was thinking of as well. I think Kale's got a good one there, and he's actually super exciting to watch. So I think Kale's going to be super tough to beat.
Otherwise, it would have been Rashawn Holmes.
That bloke, mate,
I'm devastated.
He's a survivor of the process as well. So,
wow.
So now, good stuff, mate. Well, it's good to recap everything with you. We might rendezvous in a couple of weeks once we get a chance to laugh at the first 2 weeks of disaster from Mike and see if yeah.
And how irrelevant all of what we've just said is. It'll probably all be turned on its head, and everything that we said today was incorrect. And
I think
we're totally wrong. But
there's a chance that Nick just turns it around and shocks the world here. Turns on a 10-0
that
start.
That is one certainty that I'm sure he's going to be useless. But very good off the court kind of thing. He's going to be good in the banter, and he's going to be exciting with trades. So
yeah. Oh, good, mate. Well, good chatting, and we'll be seeing you on the banter, and we'll rendezvous for another call in a few weeks.
Nice one. All right, mate.
All right, later, man.
Well played.